When a player gets drafted, that fan base instantly gets emotionally invested to that player. You watch them develop with overwhelming anticipation. World Juniors, camps, making the roster, and finally blossoming into that superstar. And the thing is, every single sports fan can relate. And it's what makes following hockey, or just sports in general, so amazing. However, unfortunately, even though it doesn't feel like it at times, hockey is a business. It can be ruthless, as we've seen star players deeply rooted to their city, their fan base, savagely traded.
Now in his 6th NHL season, Subban isn't fooling around anymore.
Even though they didn't have a top 10 pick, in 2007, the Montreal Canadiens would slam dunk on everyone, as they would draft Ryan McDonough, Max Pacioretty, and miraculously, they would draft PK Subban in the 2nd round. And at the time, Subban was well known for his elite offensive capabilities. But because of his incomplete defensive game, most teams feared he was too one-dimensional. Except...
We started our trek in Petawawa. We're a bunch of individuals. We came to Ottawa as one team, one nation, on one mission. And I mean, I can't say much more about our coaching staff. And it's just an unbelievable feeling right now.
Congratulations. I know you're good.
In 2009, Subban would become one of the most exciting prospects in the world, as he, alongside John Tavares and Jordan Eberle, had one of the most dramatic but dominant performances in tournament history.
Tavares backhand towards the goal, loose puck, Eberle scores! Tie game! Can you believe it?
And as we've seen many times in the past, the momentum from this tournament would catapult Subban's career into stardom. As the next season, Subban would dominate in the AHL, get called up, and prove he was no joke. I still remember his first game like it was yesterday. He was so entertaining and just different to watch. And of course, if you enjoy the videos, make sure to press subscribe for some more awesome hockey content. We are on the final stretch to 40,000 subscribers, which is my new 2020 goal. It was 5,000, now it's somehow 40,000. So any support would really make my day. So, combine this with his off-ice actions, including his foundation, where he pledged to donate $10 million to the Children's Hospital. Now, I'm not sure the numbers today, but in 2017, it was at $2 million. And Subban said himself that it helped the lives of tens of thousands of families. So with his personality, it was only time before PK Subban became a cult legend in Montreal, as he would spend the entirety of his career with the Habs in the spotlight. He was that guy. However, sometimes Subban's larger-than-life personality would cause some issues in the dressing room. Fights would break out. Teammates were commonly frustrated with Subban's actions on and off the ice. He was still that all-star defenseman, but Montreal was reaching their breaking point and desperately needed a culture change. And then it happened. After months of trade rumors, PK Subban would be shockingly unloaded in a 1-for-1 blockbuster deal. A trade that many Habs fans will lose their mind about. People were demanding Bergevin to get fired, campaigning on social media, burning jerseys. Because keep in mind, this trade occurred right after he signed an 8-year, $72 million deal. There was an expectation that Subban was going to be the cornerstone player in Montreal for a long time. PK gave everything he had to Montreal, but at the end, it still wasn't enough.
But as I said, there comes a time when
justify the reasons why this has happened, but we're all trying to do something that's good for Wayne, for the Edmonton Oilers.
Wayne Gretzky is the best talent the sport of hockey has ever seen. Not only that, but it's not even close. If Connor McDavid is here compared to the league, Gretzky is here. Not only did he single-handedly revolutionize the sport of hockey, but his hardware and unbelievable seasons speak for itself. During the 70s, the NHL had competition, as the WHA, or the World Hockey Association, was able to recruit some of the best talent in the world, including who else but Wayne Gretzky, as he was a phenom growing up. I mean, in Adam, his stats are so absurd, it is hilarious. As Wayne had 517 points. 517 in 85 games. Like, are you joking? And during Gretzky's 10 seasons in Edmonton, he would collect 28 awards. What is the point of calling it the NHL Awards when Gretzky is basically claiming every single possible one in every single season? His dominance was absurd. He was so far above the game of hockey. Not only was he a cult legend in Edmonton, but he was a worldwide celebrity. I mean, how many NHL players today can you name that are on the cover of, E! Magazine, hanging out with Michael Jordan and the most famous celebrities in the world? It's just something we don't see much anymore. But when you have that much star power in a league that didn't have enough structure yet, a salary cap was still non-existent. Teams would run into a lot of very complicated issues, where some teams would even have to give players ownership of teams, or just very ridiculous clauses, most of which would be illegal in today's game. And so even though he won 4 cups and probably had 3 to 5 more to go, now I will preface, there is a lot of he said, she said in this situation, but basically, this trade absolutely shocked the entire nation, as he would be traded to the Kings for a plethora of assets and $15 billion, which, keep in mind, today is worth about $42 million given inflation and conversion to CAD. And what would come out of it was probably the most emotional goodbye in NHL history. Now, some good would definitely come out of it, as Gretzky's impact in the States would cause a wave of thousands, if not millions, of new fans, which undoubtedly grew the game of hockey. But without a question, this is hands down the most heartbreaking trade the game of hockey has ever seen.
Welcome to the John Tavares Show. He is the most anticipated Canadian draft pick since Sidney Crosby, expected to go first overall in this year's draft.
Leading up to the 2009 NHL draft, Tavares was considered the next generational player. And it was for good reason. As a double underager in the OHL, Tavares would put up 72 goals. 72 in 67 games. Numbers we haven't seen in decades, not to mention he was 15 when the season started. So, when he was drafted by the New York Islanders first overall, there was an instant connection. Probably more so an expectation that Tavares would be the chosen one to elevate Long Island from the dark ages. And from his first game up until his last, Tavares gave everything he had to the franchise, leading the offense season after season, bringing them back to the playoffs, and taking on a leadership role from a very young age. Except, during Tavares' entire tenure, he basically had next to no help. He was Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. Yes, he wore his heart on his sleeve night in and night out, but without a competent team around him, it was almost disrespect to Tavares. Yes, he had some decent pieces around him at times, but hockey is a team sport, and the Islanders' depth and star power always seemed a step behind the competition. And to put it into perspective, in Tavares' most dominant season as an Islander, he put up 38 goals and 86 points. Not too shabby. However, the other leading scorer on the team was Kyle Okposo with 51 points. So, heading into his contract extension, people began to speculate whether or not he would resign. However, there wasn't that much merit, and it was honestly a mystery. So, when he did go into free agency and sign that max contract with the Leafs, it was shocking to say the least. And as for Islanders fans, not only were they heartbroken, but they felt betrayed. And that deep sadness would evolve into deep hatred. as we witnessed the most brutal return of a star player in NHL history. Not only was Tavares abused online for months, and still today, but he would be relentlessly booed for the entirety of a game. Not to mention he was even booed during his very emotional tribute video. Now, I too would be upset and heartbroken, but this was a brutal display. But I am curious, now that some time has passed, if there's any Islanders fans out there, I would love to hear your opinion on JT. But anyways guys, what is the most heartbreaking goodbye your team has ever had to make? Comment down below, I'd love to know. And make sure to press subscribe for some more awesome hockey content. Again, we are so close to 40,000, so any support would really mean a lot to me. And sorry for the gaps in my upload schedule recently. I'm currently in finals and it is a very stressful time. But the good news is we're almost done here. We're in the final stretches, so we're about to get on the grind again. Anyways though, I hope all you guys are doing well. See you guys later.